Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel Heartwarming Tales. The rain had just begun to fall when Ethan Cole, the 35-year-old CEO of a powerful real estate company, stepped out of his sleek black car. The city was wrapped in gray mist, the streets glistening under the drizzle, and people hurried past, their umbrellas like moving shadows. Ethan was a man used to control. Every deal, every meeting, every headline about him was carefully planned. But nothing in his meticulously arranged life could have prepared him for the little girl who would soon change everything he thought he knew about love, forgiveness, and family. He was attending a charity event for an orphanage his company had donated to. It was more of a publicity obligation than a heartfelt choice. Cameras flashed as he walked in, greeting organizers with his practiced smile. Yet beneath the polished exterior was a loneliness no one saw. His life had been built on success, but it was also built on loss. Loss of a woman he had once loved and a child he never got the chance to meet. Years ago, he had been young, ambitious, and in love with a woman named Claire. They had dreams, laughter, and promises that could have filled a lifetime. But one mistake, his decision to choose work over love, had cost him everything. When he finally came back to make things right, Claire was gone, leaving behind no trace except an old letter that said, "Some goodbyes are forever." The event hall buzzed with chatter, tables lined with flowers, balloons, and small handmade crafts by children. He gave his speech, empty words about hope and opportunity, then stepped aside, his eyes wandering toward the laughter of children playing near the corner. That's when he saw her. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, sat quietly on a chair too big for her. She had long chestnut hair tied in pigtails, bright hazel eyes that sparkled even in the dull light, and a tiny pink dress with frayed edges. She wasn't playing like the others. Instead, she held a crumpled paper drawing, a stick figure family of 3 with a heart drawn between them. Something about her tugged at his chest, a strange, unexplainable pull. When she noticed him looking, she gave a shy wave. Ethan, unsure why, smiled and waved back. Moments later, she hopped off the chair and ran toward him, clutching her drawing tightly. "Hi," she said, her voice soft but cheerful. "You look like the man in my picture." Ethan knelt down, surprised by her directness. "I do?" he asked with a small smile. She nodded earnestly and held up her drawing. "See, that's me and Mommy. And that's Daddy. But Mommy says Daddy's far away. So, Tom, could you pretend to be him for a little while? Just today?" Her innocent words hit him like a storm. For a moment he couldn't breathe. "Pretend to be your dad?" he asked, trying to sound casual. She nodded again, eyes wide with hope. "Please, just until the party's over. Other kids have their daddies here. Mommy's busy working, and I don't want to be the only one alone." There was something heartbreakingly honest in her voice. Ethan didn't know why, but he said yes. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was fate, or maybe it was something deeper, whispering that this child was meant to be more than a stranger. He spent the afternoon with her, helping her draw, eating cake, even dancing awkwardly when the music started. Every time she laughed, something inside him softened. It felt familiar, too familiar. Later, when the event ended and parents began collecting their children, Ethan realized he didn't see anyone come for her. He looked around until he spotted a young woman near the entrance, holding a clipboard and speaking to a volunteer. When she turned, time stopped. It was Claire. Her hair was a little shorter now, her face more mature, but those eyes, those same gentle, soulful eyes, he would have recognized anywhere. His heart pounded as memories rushed back. The night they argued, the day he left, the letter she wrote. And now she was standing just a few steps away. Claire froze when she saw him. For a long, unbearable moment, neither spoke. Then the little girl ran to her, waving her drawing proudly. "Mommy, Mommy. This nice man pretended to be my daddy today." Claire's face went pale. She looked from her daughter to Ethan, her lips parting in shock. "You?" Ethan stood still, his voice barely a whisper. "Claire, she's yours?" Claire's eyes shimmered with a mix of fear and sadness. She nodded slowly, clutching her daughter close. "Her name is Lily," she said softly. "She's 6. 6. The word echoed in his mind like a thunderclap. 6 years old, the same number of years since Claire had vanished. His breath caught. He didn't need a test to know. He could see it now, the shape of her eyes, the small dimple on her cheek when she smiled. It was all him. His daughter, Ethan felt the world tilt beneath his feet. All the years he had chased success, all the nights he had drowned in silence, he had missed this. Her first word, her first step, her entire childhood. Claire could see the storm in his eyes. "I didn't tell you," she whispered, "because I didn't want her to grow up in the shadow of your world. I wanted her to have peace, not headlines. You were always chasing something, Ethan. I couldn't make you stay." He swallowed hard, guilt pressing against his chest like a weight. "Claire, I didn't know. If I had—" "I know," she said gently, stopping him. "But knowing now won't change the past." Lily, unaware of the tension, tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, can he come again? He made me laugh." Claire hesitated, then glanced at Ethan, her expression torn between caution and compassion. "We'll see, sweetheart." Over the next few days, Ethan couldn't focus on anything. Meetings blurred into noise, numbers lost meaning. All he could see was that little girl's face, the daughter he never knew existed. He started visiting the orphanage's community center, always hoping to accidentally see them again. And when he finally did, Lily ran straight to him, hugging his leg like an old friend. From that moment, Ethan began to rebuild what he had lost. He started small, helping Claire with errands, reading bedtime stories to Lily when Claire worked late shifts at the hospital. Slowly, the walls between them began to crumble. Claire saw something different in him now. Not the man who left for ambition, but the man trying to make amends. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Ethan and Lily sat on a park bench feeding pigeons. She looked up at him with that same bright smile and said, "You're really good at pretending, Mr. Ethan. You almost feel like a real dad." He felt his heart twist, his throat tightening. He wanted to tell her the truth right there, but he hesitated. He didn't want to confuse her, not yet, not until Claire was ready. That night, he went to see Claire. "I can't pretend anymore," he said quietly. "She deserves to know the truth, and I want to be part of her life, Claire. Not as a stranger, not as a name she doesn't know." Tears filled her eyes. "Ethan, I don't know if I can trust you again. You left once. What if—" "I won't," he said firmly, voice trembling with emotion. "I've built empires, but none of it means anything without her. Without you." Silence stretched between them, heavy and fragile. Then Claire whispered, "She's your daughter. You should tell her." The next day he took Lily for ice cream. They sat at a small table by the window, the afternoon sun soft against the glass. He watched her giggle as she smeared chocolate on her nose, his heart overflowing with a love he'd never known he could feel. "Lily," he said gently, "remember how you asked me to pretend to be your dad?" She nodded, licking her spoon. "Uh-huh," he took a deep breath. "Well, you don't have to pretend anymore because I am." The spoon fell from her hand. Her eyes widened, confusion flickering before joy broke through like sunlight. "Really? You mean you're my real daddy?" Ethan nodded, tears glimmering. "Yes, sweetheart. I'm your dad." Lily threw her arms around him, and for the first time in years, Ethan felt whole. Across the cafe, Claire watched them, tears rolling silently down her cheeks. From that day on, Ethan wasn't just the man who had everything. He was a father, a partner, and finally, a man at peace. Together, they began writing new memories. Family picnics, bedtime stories, laughter echoing through a home that had once been empty. Sometimes fate doesn't give second chances easily. But when it does, it reminds us that love, no matter how lost, always finds its way home. And if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales, God, because love and family are the most beautiful stories of all.